What is going to be discussed in this video? You might have heard the saying that anger is the one emotion that we cannot afford to have. So in today's video, we are going to discuss how you can master your anger so that no one can bother you. And for that, we are going to take some help from Stoicism. The first step to not getting angry at all is to understand the difference between what is in our control and what is beyond our control. Epictetus says it beautifully. He says, "There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will." When you start understanding that there are certain things that are in your control, and there are other things that are beyond your control, then you won't get angry over everything that happens. So here is how you find out what is in your control and what is not. Every situation that we face, every person that we meet in life, has two parts. One part is in our control and the other part is beyond our control. Let's take an example. Let's take the example of your health. In your health, there are two parts. One part is your habits, the other part is your illness. Now, your habits are in your control. The choices that you make every day, whether you want to eat healthy food, whether you want to exercise or not, whether you want to sleep on time or not, all of that is in your control. But illness is not in your control. You could be the healthiest person on earth, but still, there are so many factors that lead to illness. It could be the air that you breathe, it could be the food that you eat, it could be your genetic makeup. There are so many things that lead to illness, which are beyond your control. So now, let's apply this wisdom to people. People also have two parts. The behavior of people is in our control, but their attitude is not in our control. Let me tell you this story that happened with the Roman Emperor Hadrian. Once he was traveling through Egypt, and while he was there, he met a poor man who was blind and lame and was begging on the side of the road. And Hadrian asked his servants to give him some money, but the servants said, "No, don't give him anything. I think he's pretending to be blind and lame. I think he's just acting." But Hadrian thought otherwise. He said, "I believe he is blind and lame, and I'm sure that he's not acting." Then he went to the man, sat beside him, and gave him some money. When the emperor himself did that, the servants got really angry. They were boiling with anger. They said, "You know very well that this guy is just acting. He's not actually blind or lame, and you are giving him money." Then Hadrian said, "I don't know if he's acting or not, but what I do know is that it's in my control to give him money. But it's not in my control whether he's acting or not. So why would I let go of something that is in my control just because of something that is not in my control?" That is exactly what we should do in every situation. We should focus on the part that is in our control, not on the part that is not in our control. Now here comes the second step. Don't let the things that are in your control affect the things that are not in your control. Let me tell you this story of the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius was troubled by the endless complaints of his brother Lucius, and once he wrote in his journal, he wrote, "Today I complained to myself about the way Lucius was behaving. I said to myself, why does he do this? Why does he behave like this? And then I realized that the fault is not in the thing itself, but in my inability to not get bothered by it. The fault is not in the thing itself, but in my inability to not get bothered by it." Now, what he meant by this is that the fault is not in Lucius's behavior. The fault is in Marcus Aurelius's inability to not get bothered by Lucius's behavior. Because when we focus on the things that are in our control to change the things that are not in our control, that's where we go wrong. But the solution is simple. If the thing is not in your control, don't try to change it. Just accept it and move on. The third step to never getting bothered again is to ask yourself this question before you react. Is this something that I can control? Am I able to change it? If the answer is yes, then do it. But if the answer is no, then don't waste your time even thinking about it. Marcus Aurelius says, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." So instead of wasting your time and energy on things that are not in your control, focus on the things that are in your control, because that is where your real power lies. The fourth step is to always remember that most people are doing the best they can with what they have. Most people are doing the best they can with what they have. Now, here's the beautiful thing. By focusing on this one thing, you stop judging people. You stop blaming people, and you stop being angry at people, because when you realize that everyone is doing the best they can, you will not expect more from them. You will not blame them when they don't do what you want them to do, because you will understand that everyone is doing the best they can with what they have. Marcus Aurelius says, "The secret to dealing with others is to realize that they are all trying their best to get what they want, including you. No one is intentionally trying to harm you." Keep this in mind and you will see how much lighter your life becomes. You won't judge people. You won't hate people. You won't blame people. And most importantly, you won't be angry at anyone. The fifth and the last step to never getting bothered again is to practice indifference. To be indifferent doesn't mean to be uncaring. To be indifferent means to be unbiased. It means to not jump into conclusions. It means to think calmly and rationally and logically before you jump into action. Seneca says, "He is a slave who lets his feelings get the better of him," and that is absolutely true. When you let your feelings get the better of you, when you let your emotions take over you, that is when you become a slave. You become a slave to your emotions. You become a slave to your anger. You become a slave to your attachment. But when you practice indifference, when you practice immunity against these emotions, that is when you become free. That is when you truly become free. In fact, this brings me to the definition of a strong person. A strong person is someone who is in control of themselves, someone who is in control of their emotions, someone who is in control of their anger. As the Buddha said, "He who conquers himself is greater than he who conquers 1,000 men in battle." That is what makes you a strong person. And that is what I had to say for today. I hope you found this video valuable. If you did, make sure to let me know in the comments below. I will see you tomorrow. Until then, stay strong.